place to promote the growth of Tigres in English through analysis, discussions, interviews, and more. Welcome to the Lautimes podcast. And we are back. Welcome back, everybody, to Lautimes, the only podcast on the earth talking about Los Tigres in English. And we're back on this Tuesday night as we get ready for another semifinal for the boys. Thanks for joining us. If you're joining us live, if you're listening on podcast later, thank you for listening. I'm Dennis. I'm the producer and tonight's host of the show. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving with family and loved ones. We are back. We're powered by StreamYard, as you know. And for the moment, I am joined by one happy man, both in the Tigres sense and in the Texas Longhorns sense. My great friend, Lou, a.k.a. Tigres_English himself. How are you?
Great to be here, Dennis. It's been a great sports week for me. Let's keep that going.
That's right. That is right. Big win for the Longhorns, although playoff chances don't look super great. That's neither here or there. But we're here to talk about Tigres, who, completed a wonderful comeback on Saturday in Liguilla. We'll get to that here in a second. I got to do the housekeeping things first. If you are watching us live right now, do us a favor and let me pull up the thing. Like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you are watching us on Twitter, join us and hit the retweet button. Share it with people. Send it. Text it to somebody. If you are in the chat or want to join us in the chat, come join us, including our friend AJ, who is not joining us on the show. He's back on night shift, but he's tuning in from work. That's a dedicated man tuning in from the place of work.
I'm gonna report him, bro. give me his employer's name. I'm reporting him.
Reporting him to HR immediately. But yeah, if you haven't been following the account already, following the podcast, following the channel, you should do all that right now. Like the video if you're watching on YouTube, like the stream if you're watching on Twitter, all the things. The last housekeeping thing I got to do before we talk game is that I need to show everybody our background that we're going to be using tonight. Shout out StreamYard for trying new things and adding new things for us as we record and as we do live streams. You can now do AI generated backgrounds. So as you see, we have our nice navy blue looking background that Lou said earlier before we click record is very soothing. But tonight we're going to switch it up. Much like last week I would do with the Thanksgiving theme. It's Tuesday. Everybody likes tacos. It's Taco Tuesday. So I went into the AI generated thing and I said, give me a picture of a tiger in a Tigres jersey eating tacos. So there it is. I'm going to take us off for a second so that y'all can see. That's it. So Lou approves. Hopefully y'all approve too. But that's our background for tonight because why not? It's Taco Tuesday. Okay. Hopefully more of the crew will join us. But if not, it's okay. We'll just run it us two. My friend, let's kick it back to the Xolos series before we talk about the semifinal. Obviously, great comeback on Saturday, winning 5-0 at home. Great performances from so many guys in the squad. But we were forced into a situation where we had to pull that together because of what happened on Wednesday night at basically midnight. So let's start there. What went wrong on Wednesday that put us in that situation to where we were 3-0 down heading back home on Saturday?
Errors. It was just errors, defending errors. I think we had mentioned some of the pitfalls we could face, some of the struggles we could see going into that game, right? First of all, extremely late game for us. Um, there's no reason why the number two seed should start at 11 p.m. Put us at a total disadvantage there. Going in already, we knew that the pitch was going to be horrendous and was going to play against us. Uh, Xolos is a very good team because of that pitch in part. I mean, obviously they do have talent, but it's a tough place to play at. So that's why they're a very good team and a poor road team. So we kind of knew that the long layoff was going to hurt us. So having so much time off, so that play-in could be played, it hurts the good teams. And so we saw that. We saw some rust, some errors because let's face it, we had a scrimmage against Alebrijes de Oaxaca, but it's not the same. It doesn't simulate the real situation we were going to face. And so we made some mistakes. Unfortunately, it cost us. There was a lot of angry fans after the game, and I don't blame them. But from what I was seeing statistically, there was nothing to worry about. I think Pizarro put out a good 11. I think he it was clear what he wanted to do, right? He wanted to possess the ball, he wanted to attack, and we did that. I think we had at one point near 70% possession. So the team in that regard was doing well. Just defensively, we kind of goofed on a set piece, and that ended up kind of snowballing on us. But just looking at the game, their XG was like at zero point 0.6, if I'm not mistaken. They only had 6 shots on goal. So, you give up 6 shots on goal and they scored three. That just goes to show, right, that we shot ourselves in the foot. So there wasn't a lot of concern on my part going into the home game because I knew that the boys would, now that they had had their warm up game, had gotten all the errors out of the way, that they were going to come back. So I wasn't as upset as most people. Obviously, I don't want to see these types of games, but I'm glad we got this game out of the way. Um, if we're going to have a terrible error-filled game, might as well be right there. Uh, from here on out, I think the boys will be sharper and obviously being in form because of having plenty of playing time. I think is going to help us. So I'm just glad we got it out of the way.
Yeah, my biggest frustration with Wednesday's game was just what's funny with me saying this is that we showed this on Saturday. Just the lack of urgency and kind of leadership on the field. One of my biggest criticisms of Wednesday was the lack of production and the lack of uh, just anything really good from two of the captains in Juan Buruneta and Goriaran. I mean, I even tweeted like the day after the game about Goriaran, get out my club, which, I mean, there's still kind of some truth to that, but he did play better on Saturday. But there was just no sense of like meeting the moment in some ways. And to a degree, like I get it because, like you mentioned, it was our warm up game in a lot of ways. Cholos had already had that kind of warm up game in the play in. So they had already had a little bit of game rhythm back again. And we hadn't played a real game in like 3 weeks. So um I wasn't surprised by it. I was just frustrated by it, especially considering the goals. Like that first goal, very lucky. Um outside the box kind of shot. The second goal, you see an error from Farfan that he hadn't made all season, right? And then just bad marking in the box on the third one. All goals that I felt like were pretty preventable, right? Like stuff that could have been closed down a little bit better. Um, and I think that's what left me frustrated is that those kind of half chances that they got, they they made them, but then there was no urgency to like try and get a goal back and try and make something happen. Like, yeah, there actually was not super great, but I mean, we didn't have much of it either, to be honest. Like just within watching the game. I don't remember what our number was. Remind me what our number was.
1.26, I want to say. So
Yeah,
the stats favored us in that sense. We were supposed to, technically we could have won that game or
sure.
possibly come out with a tie.
Yeah. Just
Just
didn't feel like it watching it though. You know what I mean?
just to mention on that first goal that you just mentioned with Kevin Castañeda, the XG on that first goal was 0.06. So it's
Crazy.
it's it's one of those shots that if he takes it 20 times, he's only going to hit it once. And to be fair, he was on fire the entire night. He didn't
Just
slow
man of the
down
match.
until he got hurt. I mean, he was taking some wild shots, but they were on target, and he was forcing Nahuel to make some crazy saves. So I got to give it to him. He was just he was red hot. You know, I'm not gonna say it was a lucky shot, but it was just his night, and it's one of those things. And then you mentioned Farfan making a rare marking error, but to be honest, Angulo and Joaquim were right there too, and they didn't. It was it was three of our players against one of theirs, and none of us did anything to stop that. So you know, Osiel Herrera, if we're gonna call out people, was
Oh, it was
also
awful.
tremendously lackadaisical and apathetic the entire night, which was really frustrating to see.
Yeah, very much no urgency from him, and like you mentioned in our group thread, like we were playing down a man basically the whole night with him there. I mean, I thought the formation and the game plan. I mean, we called it like the week up or last week, like before the first game, like he was gonna go with Correa as the false nine or as the hybrid nine or whatever you want to call it. Um, and it didn't work per se, but that's not necessarily on Correa. It's more on the lack of production we got from Bruneta and Osiel Herrera, and to an extent Lainez, even though Lainez was definitely the better of the two.
Yeah,
Um, but at the end of the day, Saturday we come out and guns a blazing. I mean, we scored 5. It felt like we could have scored 8, right?
yeah.
Like there were some really good chances that were saved by their keeper. Gignac had a really like honestly a pretty bad miss in the first half, if I remember correctly.
Brunetta missed a sitter.
Yeah, there was a lot of crazy. There's a breakaway in the second half that uh Correa should have gotten, if I remember correctly. Like, oh my gosh, I mean, we destroyed them. Like,
Nico had a one that it was kind of a bad first touch, and the ball got just a little bit ahead of
yeah,
him.
yes, in the
The
first half, yeah,
goalkeeper Toño Rodriguez made a great save on it, but I think had his first touch been perfect, he scores on that because the
yeah,
ball would have just been at the right spot. So there was a lot. I mean, Toño Rodriguez was on fire, dude. That dude
unbelievable.
was like, I mean, he was just everywhere,
He
and
saved
he he
some
he
long
kept
shots
them in the
too.
game.
Yeah, he saved some long shots from. I think Correa had a long shot like from outside the box. Gorri had one. Speaking of Gorri, AJ saying his best game of the season was on Saturday. Yep,
Yeah,
I would say so for sure.
absolutely.
He did you notice? Because I noticed this, and I totally forgot to mention this in the group chat, and wanted to like get your take on this. Did you notice that it was funny because the other Luis in our group thread mentioned this earlier in the week, and it kind of happened on Saturday. Gorri was sitting deeper, like he wasn't as far up because of the way the formation worked out with starting both Guignac and Ibanez from the get go with Correa. Um, Gorri was the deeper of the
Yeah,
midfielders, which usually he doesn't. And there's been some times this season where he has played that where he hasn't. I thought that was really interesting, and it worked because we just had all the possession, and he honestly didn't have to do a ton of work because we just kept on keeping the ball in their half, and they didn't have a ton of like breakaway chances until after we basically got the 3 goals that we needed. But he was just sitting deeper, which I thought was really interesting.
yeah. I mean, I think ideally Pizarro would normally not take that sort of risk, but given the circumstances, I think instead of being like a 4-4-2 diamond, I think it was more of a 4-1-3-2 with the three attacking mids kind of sitting way ahead of him and just letting him cover as much ground as possible. Because you sort of you have no choice, right? You have to attack, and you're also relying on the fact that more than likely Xolos was going to sit in a low block and try to defend for as long as they could. Um, because knowing that if that first goal doesn't come within the first 30, 35 minutes, you're going to be in deep trouble. So uh, credit to Pizarro because he gambled, he took the risk, and it paid off. I think the boys knew what was at stake. Gorri covered a ton of ground defensively. He was really sharp. In the back line, you notice they didn't make any mistakes. They were just really sharp. And man, we've gone back and forth with Romulo Zuarg about him. Is he better in the midfield? Is he better as a center back?
Oh, he's
Dude,
good everywhere.
I think he's just good everywhere, bro. I think he's just good wherever we put him.
Jeez.
Honestly, like we could put him at right fullback and he would probably kill it. So like right now, I have so much trust in that guy. He's just so dialed in, so committed. I'm just really proud of the way they played. They set the tone early on, but I also got to give a ton of credit to our fans, bro. I mean,
Woo, yeah.
dude,
Atmosphere was
the
A1.
atmosphere, man, I just can't remember the last time we had that kind of atmosphere in a game. Um, it was just phenomenal, bro. I mean, there was so much electricity in the air. The reception they gave them when the bus was arriving was
Crazy.
loud. The stadium was already pretty much at 95, 98% capacity when the warm up started, and they were pressuring during the warm ups like incredibly loud. And I think you could just kind of sense that pressure. And so they set the tone, and when the team started, they were just going for the kill. You could tell there was going to be no backing off, no letting them breathe, because even on corner kicks, they were running to the corner,
So
making the
fast.
cross. Let's go!
Yeah.
It was just incredible. And that first goal they scored, they didn't sell it. They celebrated, but they went and grabbed the ball, took it to midfield, and
Vámonos. Yeah.
let's keep going. It was just awesome atmosphere. The intensity from the guys was incredible. Obviously, that sort of thing is hard to replicate. I know a lot of fans are gonna say that's how we should play every time, but it's so hard to play that way with that level of intensity without burning out.
Right. Here's what I'll say. This is the point that I've been uh wanting to make all night, and I'm glad we're talking about this just 18 minutes into the recording. The biggest difference to me between last year and this year, when I think about a year ago in that series, specifically against San Luis, right? Where same situation, we give up 3 goals there. We come back at home, and it's like, okay, we're in our stadium. We always perform well at home. We feel like we can come back. It obviously didn't happen. This time it did. Why is that? The spirit of the team is there. The spirit of the team is alive. Last year, to be frank, it just wasn't there because I know we've talked crap about this guy while he was here and we've talked about crap about him after, but Paunovic was just not the right guy for that, right? Like he wasn't like a huge like rile the guys up and get them to like believe. Like he didn't strike me as that, and you could tell based on how they played and just how the guys acted that there was no real spirit. Like that spirit that Siboldi had kind of brought back in that championship run in 23, and that was around when he was there, and that kind of faded towards the end. Uh, it had really gone away with Pauno. Guido, to his credit, as much as he's improved tactically and as a coach, he has brought that spirit back. And I know this sounds like obvious and like really like basic because like yeah, he was a captain of the team. He was a huge part of um all the championships, part of the golden era. Like duh, of course it was going to be like that. Sounds easy to say, but I don't know. With the characters in the team that we've talked about saying like, "Oh, do these guys like actually have what it takes to like really exemplify what it means to play at Tigres?" Specifically, guys like Brunetta, who had not shown up in a Ligia game until Saturday, like Goriaran, who is faded at times. Guys like that. Guido has done such a great job in instilling that spirit back within the team, within the club, within the fan base. I mean, we've talked about the stadium. I think this is like the third game that we've talked about the stadium being awesome, right? Last night, or not last night, on Saturday, the last game of the season when we played San Luis, when I was there, the stadium was incredible that night. And I think that's a huge credit to him because as somebody who knows what it truly means to like represent Tigres, he has instilled that spirit back. And you could tell from the get go on Saturday, just the way that we played that first half, that spirit was alive within the stadium, within the team, with the way they played, with just the determination that they had to try to get all the goals back as quick as possible. That to me is the biggest difference between last year and this year. And with that in mind, kind of looking ahead a little bit to what could be the rest of the season, that gives me greater hope that we could go on a better run because I know that that spirit is there and it's like in a really good spot to where we can kind of make some magic happen. I don't think, I mean, I wouldn't have said that last year at all with not with Bono at the helm, but now that that spirit is back, I not to sound like like a middle schooler or a high schooler, but like maybe I'm a little bit delulu in thinking that we could actually go win this thing, even though we're not the favorite, right? But this team has the spirit. This team has the vibes to like go on this run, along with the skill set, along with the good planning and the good coaching that Guido has shown um, for most of the season. I just think it's a really good spot. The team's in a really good spot, both from a performance perspective and from a just spirit and camaraderie perspective. So
Pello was saying in one of his lives a couple weeks ago that he had spoken to a player. He didn't name who the player was. He didn't reveal it, but he said that the player described it this way. He said that under Siboldi, it was like a father coaching them, and when they got Pauno, it was like a stepfather coaching them. And now that Guido Pizarro is coaching them, it feels like Big Brother is coaching them. And so that they have, it feels like they're with family again, right? Like they were with the stepdad. Everybody disliked them. Uh, Everybody wanted them out. It was just like there was bad. There was just a lot of bad juju, and I think it sort of confirms what a lot of us were saying about his discipline approach being very detrimental. You got grown dudes, veterans, and then you bring in a coach who's very severe, who tends to very, treat people like children. I think it just rubbed everybody the way, and in the wrong way, and you could see the performance with the team. They in the big games, the spirit wasn't there. Now with Pizarro, there's this like we're family. Let's get it done. Let's do it for each other. So there's that fight in them now again. So you could definitely see it. We had been in this situation before under Piojo Herrera. Remember that 3-0 disadvantage against Atlas? We didn't get it
right,
done.
yep,
We got close, but we didn't get it done. And as it turns out, Piojo Herrera had ruined it anyway with that messed up 11 that he had on the pitch, right? Too many foreigners on the pitch. And then Pauno had that situation, and it was 3-0 at San Luis and 0-0 at home. They didn't do anything. And now Pizarro's been the first one to get it done. And I think this team has had some roller coaster moments, right? They've had ups and downs, but I think we're peaking at the right time. And I think having Angel Correa, you could tell the big difference he makes on the squad. I think that's just
yeah,
a huge, even though on the stat sheet on Saturday he didn't show up a whole lot, he was just so phenomenal. His energy, his positioning on the pitch, everything was there.
yeah, yeah. I mean, just his gravity is such a big deal because he attracts defenses towards him. It opens up space for everybody else. Um, it allows for the link up play between him and Brunetta to really work. And sometimes when Guignac's there too, like those three love to make plays like with each other all the time. So yeah, man, it was a much needed result, obviously because of the circumstances, but also because of that spirit factor, of the fact that we hadn't won a Liga game since 2023, the season after the championship, the season that we went to the final against America. We hadn't won a Liga game since then, so almost 2 years. Like every other result we've had since then has been either a draw or loss. So I think that's a huge like mental barrier that the team just jumped to get a win for Pizarro to get a win in Liga. He hadn't had that yet either, um, from last year and from this year so far. That's such a huge hurdle to jump over, and it only builds confidence within the team, going into what is going to be a pretty challenging series coming up. Nico Stock, AJ says, for the rest of the Liga is going up. That sounds like music to your ears.
What did I tell you guys? I said he's gonna have a
He's gonna have a
chance.
moment, and he
He's
had
gonna
it. He
have
had
a
a moment.
chance, and
Yep.
he had his chance, and he had his moment. I I I just I'll say this. This is a dude that's worked hard, kept his head down. Things have not gone his way, but he's never complained. He's never been lazy. He's been a hard worker. He's been a true professional in every way. So I'm glad I'm glad for him because he's been heavily criticized and sometimes unjustly, sometimes justly, but it's a guy who hasn't stopped working. So I think it's a good lesson for everybody, right? To when things aren't going your way, keep grinding your axe, keep honing your skills, keep working hard, keep your head down, do work, and good things might happen. And I'm just glad it was Nico who was able to get that first goal that really got things started for us, and then he had an assist on the next one. So props to him. I hope that he starts to peak, right? I hope he has more of these moments because we're gonna need him. We're gonna need him at some point again, and I hope he continues to shine. We've said it a lot of times. It's a lot of it with him has been mental. Maybe it's fatigue, but hopefully we can rely on him again.
All right, I got to ask you about who the man of the match was on Saturday. You asked this question on your account, on your Twitter account, and there was a lot of love for Diego Lainez. I mentioned that based on stats, that Juan Brunete gets a shout because he had an assist and 2 goals, I think, something like that, or 1 goal, 2 assists. There's a lot of good performances, right? Like even Correa, like we mentioned,
Correa,
like
yeah.
his energy. I thought he was of all the guys on the field, he set the tone the most in the beginning with just his like insistence on driving at their defense and dribbling and trying to get in their final third. I thought he had a great game. Obviously, Ociel when he came on had a good cameo. Um,
And you got to shout the back line, bro. I
yeah,
mean, Romulo was phenomenal. Farfan,
unreal.
Farfan was just, oh my God, that dude covered so much ground. I wish I had the stats to see how much he ran,
Yeah,
but he was running and he was running hard, bro. Those
yeah.
were some really long sprints.
Oh,
So,
AJ saying man of the match, your twin, tu gemelo.
woo, yeah,
Woo!
baby.
Wow,
But I'm gonna give it to Linez, bro. I'm gonna give it to
dude.
Linez. He was just, I don't know, dude. I've never seen Linez like this ever.
What did soccer nerds say on Twitter? Playing naked.
Yeah, the aggressiveness on the 1v1s, he dog walked that fullback the entire night, bro.
It was crazy.
He did whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the fullback didn't know which way he was going to go. Is he going to
No.
cut in? Is he going to go over to the back line? He had him guessing the entire night, and he was just phenomenal. If he continues to play that way, bro, we're going to be dangerous.
Yeah. And we need it because he is the more consistent of the two wingers, right? Like as
Yeah,
we talked about with Ociel, like Ociel is too inconsistent within the
Ozzy,
team.
bro. I know he scored, but I'm sorry to say, but there's no warm blood flowing through his veins. I just I can't I can't pull for a guy that's that apathetic, bro. I understand that there's guys that have bad nights and it happens. Everybody has bad nights, but the effort that he put in is just it's unacceptable
Yeah,
in a situation like that. And so honestly, I don't want to see that guy as a starter anymore. Yeah, we can use him as a super sub or whatever you want to call it. And I know he's dangerous. He's a scoring option, but I don't want to see him as a starter.
yeah, I don't disagree. Um, Another guy we haven't talked about at all, Chewy Garza.
Ooh,
Wow, wow, wow. Talk
bro.
about defensively really solid. His crossing, he had an assist after the kind of dog water performance that Javier Aquino had on Wednesday. I would not take Jesus Garza out of that spot
No.
anytime soon.
No, he earned the right to play to start again, bro.
Yeah, big time.
In my opinion.
Big time. Oh yeah, Vigon. Dude, when he scored that goal, I did the celebration with him. It was
Yeah,
crazy, bro.
same here.
I got up and I did the thing. It was
Same here.
it was crazy. Oh my gosh. Hey, here's a fun surprise. The father of the show is here. Arnaldo. Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
What's
Thanks
up,
for joining us.
Arnoldo?
Glad
How are
you're
we
back.
doing tonight?
We're doing
Doing
good.
great.
We're just
Awesome.
we're recapping the second leg. Give us your thoughts, man. Give us your opinions on Saturday.
It's a magical night. I think that the team showed a lot of grit, showed a lot of passion, energy in that first 30, 35 minutes of the game. Overall, just the better team. And I wasn't able to watch the first leg, like I mentioned to you, Dennis. It was probably for the good thing, and I went to sleep early. Couldn't get, for the first time in a long time, I don't think I was able to watch a thing of this game because of the subscription issues with YouTube TV and through the internet, just causing, a shit show like they always do, whether that's in Mexico or in the US. Anyways, I missed the first leg, but the second leg I was able to catch, and it was, like I said, magical. I think that this team is putting or going on a run at the moment, summarizing the entire season, going into the playoff and having that type of performance at home, and lots of high spirits. I think that they have the chance to cap it off and go into the final. But obviously, we have the first obstacle, which is Cruz Azul. It's going to be an opponent that I think that we can get by, but going to have to be smart in playing, both legs.
Is it a good time now to transition to that conversation? Um, a semifinal against Cruz Azul for the third time this calendar year. Um, Going back to the Conca semifinal and the league semifinal back in May, both times which we lost. So maybe third time is the charm, as the saying goes in this situation. The big difference this time is, or maybe no, we didn't play them in the semifinal, or no, we didn't. We didn't play them in the semifinal.
We
I'm
played
tripping. We
Toluca in
played
the semi.
Toluca.
You're thinking Conca semis. They
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
eliminated us
yeah.
in Conca
I, j- I,
semis.
I just thought we played them so much, like last year. It just felt like we played them a million times. So only twice. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Um, Still though, maybe second time's the charm. The big difference here is that we do have the second leg at home again. And that to me is a game changer because obviously last season didn't work out for us. Uh we struggled in that Conca first leg. Um we ended up getting a goal if I remember correctly, but then in the second leg we were just awful at the Seu. Like we were just awful, genuinely. And the same thing happened in the league semifinal. We got a draw against Toluca, and then in the second leg we were bad on the road. This time though, it's different. As I mentioned just earlier, the spirit of the team much better place. The team is playing better. Guys are peaking at the right time, and you have the home advantage. So, little couple things real quick about the game or about the matchup. Tomorrow is the first leg, Wednesday. It is a 7 p.m. Central Time kickoff for those who don't know the schedule. The game will be on Univision and TUDN. Sorry, I cannot talk. So I don't know that we will be able to watch it on YouTube TV because it'll be on Univision. Thank God. And then Saturday is a 9 p.m. kickoff again on all the usual home networks, Estrella, Fox, Telemundo, all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Okay, so tomorrow, first leg, um, Cruz Azul coming off a very interesting series that they just had against Chivas, where if Chicharito uh, learned how to score a penalty and didn't sky it 50 million yards over the bar, um, maybe this series wouldn't even exist. Maybe we were playing a semifinal regia. But anyway, um, they get by in that series, and now we play them again in another semifinal again for this calendar year. What is the biggest key going into tomorrow in that first leg? Starting with Arnoldo because we need to hear more from you.
I think the midfield is the first big area of opportunity. I think if we beat out their midfielders, I think that it's been shown that they have a lot of high pace and movement, and it's going to be dangerous for them as they build up. So I think if we're able to hold that and contain and allow some of the attacking players to play a little bit more direct, and even heading into the match, I think that more than likely again playing without a striker, saving that if need be for the second leg. But it's clear that playing the first like they did the first 30 45 minutes of that second leg against Xolos could open up the game in a strategic way for Guido Pizarro. So to me, it's just winning the midfield. I think Romulo is going to be key in this series. Uh, you know, being a disruptor like he has been, and anticipating a lot of the midfielders' passes in order to quickly turn a quick possession with Correa and Brunetta and Linus.
Lou, does he run the formation that he ran on Saturday again with a little bit different personnel, or is it more like what we saw last Wednesday? Kind of alluding to what Arnoldo was just saying just now.
I think he's gonna go with the 4-2-3-1, single center forward. Um, I'm thinking he'll probably do Gignac and then also give Nico some minutes. Um, I think that's probably for the best. You want to be aggressive on Wednesday. You want to attack their fullbacks. Um, I think one of the factors last year is they were in like a 5-3-2, but really we had nothing out of Herrera, nothing out of Lainez, nothing out of our wingers. And so it really ended up turning into a more of a 3-5-2, and they were just sending a lot of numbers our way, which I thought we did a good job of sort of fending them off, but there was just too much. They were too good for us. And ultimately, we were such a terrible road team last year that it just ended up costing us. We do need to be aggressive on Wednesday. Make sure we keep Rotondi busy. I think that's one thing we didn't do very well last year. Is that last season? I mean, is that Rotondi basically had free range the entire way, and he ended up killing us. He ended up being a huge factor, and part of it was just because Linus wasn't too great, Ozzy wasn't great. It's important for our wingers to challenge. So I think Linus needs to have a similar game to what we saw against Xolos, aggressive. And to me, a big difference from last season is that we have Angel Correa this time around. We didn't challenge their center backs last year at all, but now with Angel Correa and with Brunetta being much better than he was last season, I think we're gonna really challenge that back line. Um, Cruz Azul showed at times against a limited Chivas team that they're vulnerable back there, and they're just not as sharp as they were offensively last year. I told myself that I wouldn't get overconfident, but I'm just gonna echo what I said about 2 weeks ago before Liguilla started. I think we're gonna walk through. I don't think it's gonna be.
Damn.
I don't think it's they're gonna challenge us as much. Um, I just feel like their team is slumping at the wrong time, and our team is really hot, coming in red hot. So I think this is one that we advance comfortably. I don't think we're gonna have a lot of issues with Cruz Azul.
I think you definitely have to take, like you said, advantage of the back line. Chivas, like he's leaving being limited, was able to create a lot of counters on them and create a lot of space and build up. So, but you definitely going at them and staying aggressive and setting the tone, like I said from the get go with the midfield, is going to be key.
So Nahuel, Farfan, Angulo, Garza. Who's next to Angulo? Romulo?
It's $1 million question. I think he brings back Joaquim, at least
Okay.
for this
Okay.
first leg.
Okay.
Agree.
Romulo Gorriarán in midfield. Correa, Bru, Lainez, Guignac. That's what you were saying?
Yeah.
Is that too many foreigners? Am I pulling out the Piojo Herrera question? I can never remember the rule.
I'm
It's
more. I
close.
lean more to. I'm leaning more towards he goes Ociel and goes no striker with that
And
same lineup.
and does Bru or not Bru? He does Correa up top
Hmm.
like he did against Cholos the first leg.
That's his. It's in his majority of the lineup all year. He trusts that lineup.
Yep. AJ saying wingers and fullbacks gonna be the difference, especially with counters.
Yeah.
Yeah, both
Yeah.
sides
Yeah.
for sure. Because like you mentioned, Lou, like Rotondi was such a big factor last year. Oh my gosh, he that dude dominated that series. Speaking of Rotondi, we're gonna talk about him here in a little bit because his name is in the rumor mill again. Um, I'm with you, Lou. I feel good. It's gonna be tougher in different ways. I mean, they're still decently solid in the back. They're not as fearful to me as they were last year, just because they had a lot of stuff going for them last year. Um, their coach that they had last year got so much out of that team, and Lacarmon has been doing okay. I just don't think he's as good of a coach as the coach that they had last year, at least not for that team. Um, and you're right. I don't know though. Like the midfield has to be on their A game. Romulo needs to be on his A game, like he's been all season. I have no doubts about that, but just kind of stating the obvious. Um, if Chewy can continue to play like he did on Saturday, that would be such a big deal, and not have to worry about bringing on Aquino or having to start him again after such a rough first leg last week. Um, and try to get a goal or two. Um, last year or not last year, last week, yeah, we had some decent chances as we talked about earlier, but be nice to actually convert on one or two of them, and just have a decent result. Um, coming back home on Saturday is such a big deal to me. I know the stadium is going to be alive again, like how it was last week. Like the fan base is going to be on fire. Maybe I don't know that we'll even be at the stadium because he's flying out on Friday to Monterrey. So maybe you and maybe Alfred, if he stops going to country concerts, will be our good luck charm. But yeah, I feel decently good about what we got going, and definitely better than I felt last year at this point against them. Just because, like I said, they had a momentum about them that was different when we played them in that semifinal in Conca. This time, I just don't think that's there. I think we have it, and having the second leg in Monterrey, I think is ultimately going to be a huge difference.
You mentioned coaching with Pizarro, with Pauno versus Pizarro. I think they flipped it. They they had better chemistry under Vicente Sanchez, and I don't think they have full buy-in under Larcamon. So I think you see the performance sort of slumping from some of the players. Rotondi hasn't been the same player that he was last season, for example. So, I think you can point that out as well.
Yeah, and like Sepulveda hasn't been very good. They don't have Mier because he got his freaking leg destroyed by Carrasquilla. Somehow didn't get a red
Yeah.
card. That I still don't understand how that challenge was not a red, but also not a problem. Is it prediction time? Perhaps. Start us off, Lou. AJ, if you're in the chat, still give us your prediction. We'll do it like last week. First leg score, second leg score.
I'm going to go 1-1 at Mexico City and 2-1 at San Nicolas.
Para sufrir a little bit.
Nah, it'll be a comfortable 2-1.
Okay, all
We
right.
might go up 2-0 and then they score there at the end, but I think we'll handle it.
Okay.
Keep in mind, tiebreaker goes to us. So
Yep. Yep. That's big. I don't know though.
I like the 1-0 victory for us on the road. And then I like a 1-1 at home.
Okay. I'll say I'll be similar to you, Lou. I'll say 1-1 tomorrow. I think it's important to get a goal tomorrow. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll say 1-1 tomorrow and 2-0 on Saturday.
I
Oh,
like it.
man.
Will
That's
be
going to be beautiful. I'm waiting on Alfred to set tickets so we can go to the game.
yeah.
That's going to be beautiful, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Any predictions on the other series?
I think Toluca's gonna advance. However, I think secretly we all kind of want a final regia. So
It's definitely present, just like Gignac mentioned in the pregame in the combo in the locker room. You can sense it. It's definitely there.
yeah,
I think we just have to take care of business, meaning both Tigres and Rayados. Uh,
Krieger saying it's a final regia. That's what he thinks. His
you
prediction
know,
is 1-1 away and 1-0 at home. Ooh,
well,
okay.
I was asked like how I felt about like how the it's gonna be on looking at the semis and the final, and waiting for the Cruz Azul Guadalajara match hadn't happened yet, and my immediate like awareness and after being asked that question, I think at this point it don't matter. Like we could have gotten Rayados and gone through them, or even eliminated. Like who knows? But I think it's so up in the air for everybody. Like meaning whoever made it to these last four spots, anybody can take it. And obviously the percentages are there, but ultimately I think it's also like Toluca being down Vega that hurts a lot. Morale and just system wise, like he's such an important player for them. Monterrey just has a lot of inconsistencies, but they do have Sergio Canales, and creates a lot of like danger just off of his shots. So he could win you a match. Cruz Azul, I think, is probably the weakest out of the four, but even then could surprise you just because they still have they do have some talent on the team. So I think like at this point, like I'd be down for it to be a final regia, but I know that like beating Toluca as one of the teams that's the greatest in our league, recent champions, and all the history they have with Cardoso era, and for us to like possibly beat them if we once we get through Cruz Azul, or even going again and doing the whole Rayados, nobody wants to lose. But I think that overall Tigres is the better team. So I think the scenarios suit up well no matter what for us. I think there's a script out there that's already been
Yeah,
collaborating and writing,
yeah, yeah.
and with Gignac, possibly being his last season. We talk about he signed a 1 year deal, never announced
Oh, you cut out for a sec. You still there? Oh, I think we lost him. Let us know when you're back. Uh, AJ saying 2-0 both legs.
I
So we're
like it.
beating them 4-0 in aggregate. I like that energy. That's so sick. Um, I don't know though. Are you there? Hello, hello. Let me do this. Let me try and bring it back. Are you there now? Nope. Okay. Um, I'll just piggyback off his point. There's something in the air. Like going on the bit with the script, I just think there's something in the air. Like with Guignac's last dance, whether he is done after this season or if he's done in May. Ramos is leaving after this tournament for Rayados. Like that's already very well publicly known. I mean, like I think there's something in the air there. I do. I do. I'm not gonna feed into conspiracies or anything like that. I just think there's something in the air there. And it just feels right in a lot of ways for that to be the final. Obviously, if it's Toluca, we take it and we roll with it. And I think we have a better chance to beat them this time than we did 6 months ago for various reasons. They're going to struggle without Vega. It sounds like he's not even going to be back for the series at all, which is kind of wild. I think that hamstring is bothering him probably more than people expected. So, Drinker, you mentioned the great. It's like the stars are aligning type of vibes. Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, there's something in the air. I texted Arnoldo immediately after we won on Saturday. I was like, I smell a final regia. Like I just smell it. I just do. It's like this tigre in the back eating tacos, like probably smelling them as he's eating them. Like I just smell a final regia. But I'm not gonna speak it into existence just yet.
You know how Alfred says he sometimes hates stats.
Yep.
Uh, this is uh, this is one of those series where everything points to Toluca advancing on paper. Everything just looks like it should be Toluca, and it makes no sense whatsoever for Rayados to advance given everything we've seen. But it's like you guys are saying, it it's sometimes life is a little quirky that way, a little crazy, like throws you a curveball, and it just feels like it might be that way. Like my mind says no, no, Toluca is the better team, right? They're the more balanced team. They defend better, they attack better, but there's something, like you guys said, there's something in the air that kind of just leads me to think we might be in for Final Regia 2.0.
Oh boy. It would be stressful, but AJ with the comment of the night. I don't know though.
I
Maybe
like that,
reverse it
bro.
if it's a Clásico Regio and a ham for me.
I like that.
This dude talking about ham. A boogie for that. Also, what team has been the most helped by ah yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I
We don't
think
gotta say
Bello
it.
was the one that said it, that the league is gonna grab them by the hand and try to take them. Obviously, they have to do their part, but I think a lot of refereeing decisions might lean that way.
Yeah, I mean they got their way in that first series against America, especially in that first leg.
Yeah,
Boy. Um I mean, great that America lost, but also jeez. Um by the way, speaking of them, you think Jardine is still the coach in January? You think they're gonna fire him?
they'd be fools to fire him. He's a great coach. I mean,
Yeah.
the thing with America is that they needed to have reloaded right after that third championship. It was the time to rebuild that squad, and they left some pieces behind, and now they're paying because of it, right? Like, what are you
Yep.
still doing with Lichnowsky, for example? Why is he still in the squad? There's just a lot of head scratchers, and
Yep.
sometimes winning makes you complacent. And when I mean, I don't necessarily mean the players, I mean the front office, right? And you think, oh, well, the coach has done it with these guys. Let's continue to roll the dice with them. When really your job is to be planning several seasons ahead. and I think that lack of planning now is costing them. But I mean, if they want to fire him, there will be a team that will literally snatch him hours after he's fired, because he's a great coach, and I know there's a ton of teams in this league that would love to have him, and there's probably a lot of teams in Brazil that would love to have him. So, I mean, if they want to be dumb, fine. I mean, which coach has given them this much success
Right.
in, in at least in the modern era?
Yeah.
There hasn't been. So to me, it would be foolish. I think they need to have a lot of big signings this offseason and rebuild that squad.
Well, for our sake, I hope they don't make any signings and they just stay stagnant and then turn into free fall. But yes, you're right.
Yeah. No, I'm just speaking from a America perspective, right?
Yeah, 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 for
That's
sure.
what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they want to fire him and rehire Piojo and keep that same squad, I'm more than happy. More than happy,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, he's a free agent, as they say out in the streets. So take him up while you can, I guess.
But all this Final Regia talk, we got to get our job done first,
Oh yeah,
and then we can talk.
then
I
we can
don't.
talk about it. You don't want to get too far ahead.
No, I just don't want to. Go ahead and knock on that table, bro.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're right. Piojo might be going to Atlante. What?
Yeah, I think so. I think so, bro. That would
That's
be a good
nuts.
fit. That would be a good start for Atlante, I think.
That's crazy. When is that? Is so they're switching to Atlante next summer, right? Not
Correct.
yeah. So
Correct.
there's still one more season of Mazapan.
Yeah, it would be Apertura 2026.
Okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Couple things, just a bunch of random side things to kind of close out the episode as we've concluded our talk on this semifinal match. We mentioned Rotondi just as a part of this series, but now we have to mention him because the rumor of him being linked to us again has popped up. Um, do we still gamble on him, or is that, or are there better uses of that foreign spots that we have?
No, I just don't see us gambling. Not after the season Farfan had. I mean, how could you?
Yeah,
Farfan only looks to be getting better. And so to me at this point, why go with the older guy when you've got a young Farfan who's only going to learn the system better, who's only going to improve, who still hasn't even really reached his peak yet.
yeah,
He's barely going to enter his
yeah,
peak years. So there are better spots where we desperately need the help. For example, I think we desperately need to go out and get a left winger to replace Osiel Herrera, and we need to go get a number 9 to be the next successor of Andre Pierre Gignac.
yeah,
And it needs to be at APG level if we could. Obviously, we're not going to get there, but as close to that level of a 9 that as we can, because frankly, we need to build around Correa. The back line has proven to be really solid. We had the best defense this season, and we continue to have pretty good defense. So our focus needs to be the people that surround the players that surround Correa,
yeah,
because it seems like Linus is going to keep the same level. Now we just need a guy on the left side that can match that same intensity and level that Linus is playing at, and a 9 that can keep up with Correa. That
yeah,
can basically be in sync with him. And I think now from there you've got a really complete team. If anything, you could try to go offload Correaran and maybe pick up a piece to replace Correaran and upgrade that position.
yeah, yeah,
So to me, the fullbacks, if you're gonna look at them, I think you got to be looking more at the right side. But honestly, Chuy Garza would be adequate
yeah,
without having to spend too much and you using a Mexican player.
exactly. And we have guys that can fill in there if things go really bad, right? Like Who knows if Aquino's still going to be around because of his contract situation. But if things get
Whatever we do, let's not go out and get Kevin Alvarez or
see, wait,
Jorge Sanchez, please.
gross, disgusting. Gosh, no, thank you. Um, Genuinely, I'd rather just play Vladi Loroña than both of those guys.
Yeah, for
That's
real.
that's probably a crazy take, but
Yeah, no.
gross. Um, you know why Linus is playing so well? A lot of it's because
World Cup.
I think that dude's trying to be a starter
Oh
in the
yeah.
World Cup in the summer,
And
big time.
honestly, why not? If he continues to play at this level,
Shoot, I
yeah.
mean, what other right winger from that national team is doing better than him right now?
Not Piojo Alvarado.
Nope, nope. And Chucky Lozano has been inconsistent over in San Diego too. So if you're gonna play him off the right, I don't know about all that. Talk to me about this rumor that you sent in the group thread earlier about Alan Bautista from Pachuca.
Now that is an attractive player right there. 23 years old. I think price is at 2.5 mil for him. But he's a type of midfielder that's very balanced. In other words, defends well and attacks well. So if you're looking for a Gorriarán replacement, that's your guy right there. He would be able to play right alongside Romulo Suarez in that double pivot. Covers a lot of ground. Good passer. Good distributor. Like I said, recovers the ball well. Does well in transition play. I think that's a win. That's another guy that you could bring in that would be able to learn Pizarro's system and would only get better. It's a guy that still hasn't peaked, very much like Farfan.
Is he Mexican?
Yeah, Mexican. So
Right.
to me, that would be a good, really good signing. Obviously, it's not a bomba or anything. Let's not get carried away. But you're looking at a Mexican-born player that can upgrade that Gorriarán position. I
Yep.
think he could potentially become a better version of Gorriarán. I'm not saying he's better than Gorriarán right now, but if we're looking to move away from Gorriarán and replace that position with a Mexican instead of a foreigner to free up that spot, I think that's a really good spot, really good solid player that we could bring in.
And you still have Parra waiting in the wings. Not waiting in the wings, but still a part of the squad
Yeah.
and can kind of fill in that role as well. If he could get some good fortune on the health, um, that would be ideal. AJ, I don't know why you said bet, but sure. Um, maybe he's saying it's a good bet. I don't know. But sure. Um, okay, so there's that. Those are all the rumors that we've heard last couple of days, right?
Yeah.
No other ones? Okay. All right, couple more things.
Somebody said Borja again from River Plate.
Nombre. Nombre.
I'm
Yeah.
not even going to entertain that.
Yeah. No thanks. Um, let's talk about the girls. Two things about Tigres Femenil. Well, three things about Tigres Femenil. One, the girls on the national team, on the Mexican national team, have had a great time with their games that they've had. They've won both of their games that they played recently. They destroyed whatever country they played last week, like 13-0 or something.
Saint Vincent and Grenadine.
Yeah, they absolutely demolished them. And Maria Sanchez scored in that game. Is she the only Tigres player that scored in that game? Or did Mayor too? Because
Oh man.
Ordonez didn't play.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think it might have just been Maria Sanchez.
Anyways, but Ordonez scored the goal in their most recent game in their 2-0 win. So good for them. Shout out Jenny Hermoso for winning the women's UEFA's Nations League with Spain again. She was a part of that squad. Got to play a little bit in the final yesterday. River Plate doesn't even want Borja. Who wants Borja? Probably some MLS team. So shout out to her. Last thing about the girls, and the most important thing, is that this week starts the girls' involvement in the World Sevens tournament. Now, before we clicked record, Lou and I did a little bit of research as to what the heck this thing even is. So I'm going to try to give a little bit of a breakdown based on what we were discussing earlier. So The field of this tournament, like the playing field, is half the size of a full length field. The goals are smaller. There's no offside. Um, there's like rolling substitutions, 7v7. Um, they have 15-minute halves. If they tie after normal time, they have to play a 5-minute extra time. And if that's still tied, they go to penalties. So Tigres are playing in this tournament with the likes of KC Current, with San Diego, with Flamengo's women's team. Um, is it basically like futsal? I assume.
Yeah, kind of like a mix between futsal and indoor soccer.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
assume so. This tournament is being held in Florida, if I remember correctly. I can't remember what city, but it's in Florida. It starts. It is a 3-day tournament, and it starts on Friday. The girls will play one game against a team from Toronto on Friday evening, and then they play 2 games on Saturday. Based on the results of those games, they're in a group of 4. Um, if they finish first or second in that group, they will advance to play on Sunday, where they could potentially play 3 games, I think, or 2, where there would be the group winners and the group runners up playing against each other, or from the opposite groups, and then everybody meets in a semifinal or final or whatever. So they could play up to like 5 or 6 games in this whole thing. Um, there's no, it's not a FIFA thing, so like you can send whoever you want. You're not Fort Lauderdale. Thank you, Threedker. You don't have to send certain players if you don't want to. So I'm curious to see who we are sending. Um, and you can watch the tournament on the Zone, aka the app that we were all watching the Club World Cup on back in the summer. So that's a summary of this thing. I have no idea what to expect. I have no idea who we're taking. I think it's gonna be really interesting. I'm gonna watch whatever I can of it, but I don't know what to expect. But I just hope our girls do well. Thoughts?
Yeah, it'll be an interesting situation. This is not something we've ever seen before from our girls. I still think this is a tournament that really doesn't matter a whole lot. I mean, it's good for preparation. It's good for keeping us busy during the off season, but biggest priority has to be no injuries. Make sure we get everybody back home safe because honestly, this tournament doesn't really move the dial for me or really any of the fans. So obviously, the health of our players is the most important, and hopefully, we get to see a little bit of a mix of players in there. I would love to see a mix of youth players with some of the veterans, and hopefully Pedro Losa puts out some of the best dribblers and attacking mids, because I think with the size of the pitch, it sets up well for seeing some good dribbling, some good skills, and hopefully we get some of that during the tournament.
That prize money could bring a big signing, says Streaker. Okay, so talk to us about that, dude. Like, what's the prize money? What's the amount that they're giving out? I didn't even know. I mean, it makes sense as to what that there would be a prize money thing, but what is that amount? I have no idea. Is it like millions? Is it like 500,000? 5 million.
Ooh, 5 million.
Whoa. Okay.
That's
Hey,
attractive.
you could bring in that's
Yeah.
5 times what we got for Jackie Ovaya from Orlando.
Now Threeger does runner up and like maybe third place get prices as well? Do we know, or because that would
Yeah,
be cool? I mean, even if we finish third place, imagine we got like half a mil or something.
right.
That'd be a nice little chunk of change.
Yeah, but that could help bring in some midfield depth that I would like for us to still have or obtain. Um, yeah, we could do a lot with 5 million. We bring in some good quality pieces. Obviously, we're bringing in center back already. Um, we have we have news of another departure. much to lose delight.
Hold
Chata Hernandez is no longer
on,
going to
let me get serious, bro. I don't want to laugh. This is a serious
bro.
podcast. Go ahead. Go ahead,
What do
bro.
you mean this is a serious podcast? That what? No, are we ever serious? No, no, we're never serious. Sometimes we are, but we're really not. Um, you're crazy. You're crazy for that. Anyways, so she's leaving. I don't know where she's going, but she's leaving. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but she's the third
I
departure
heard
besides Mia and
I heard
Arby.
Atlas. I want to say Atlas.
Okay,
I heard the name of the team. I just can't remember. It might have been Atlas.
okay. Well, good for her. Um,
Good for me.
Good for you, for sure. Oh man. Hey, she played in the final, right? She came on like for 2
Yeah.
seconds in the final.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was on the field when the whistle blew. Kind of crazy. That's a trivia question for for
Couple years down the road.
yeah, who was the finishing 11 in the
Yeah.
2025 Femenil Apertura final? Who was on the field when the whistle blew? Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, she's gonna be the third departure. Um, and there hasn't been a ton of like rumors otherwise. I think with feminine as well, besides what we already know about the girl from Brazil that's coming.
Marisa.
Yes, who's going to be
She's a
amazing.
baller, man. That is going to be a great addition. Can't wait.
Yeah, looking forward to that for sure. Am I missing anything?
I think we've covered everything. I can't think of anything we haven't covered.
Rapid fire question. Going still talking football, but not Liga MX. MLS final on Saturday. Miami versus Whitecaps. Messi versus Thomas Muller. Who you got?
Messi, bro. They're going to win. I think they'll win comfortably.
Ooh, okay. I
2
think
0. 2 0.
I think they'll win, but I don't think they're winning comfortably because Vancouver's pretty good, and they beat them in this Conca semi earlier in the year
But
without Muller.
Miami's coming in red hot, bro.
Yeah, dude.
They are just firing on all cylinders.
Not
No, no,
starting.
no, no disrespect to the Whitecaps.
Yeah,
I think they're extremely well coached, bro.
yeah.
They're very well. I'm like, I've been impressed with them all year. They've had some amazing games where I'm just like, man, they're a unit. They play together. I just think like talent wise and experience and big time situations, it's tough to get past Miami. I mean, look at what they did to us, bro. We were starstruck that
Uh
day.
huh. Yeah. Rodrigo de Paul running at us like a bull, absolutely wrecked us. And they're playing without Suarez starting, which has been a great decision. And uh, you know that the script
Yeah,
says
it just
so.
sets up better.
And with it's Jordi Alba's last game ever. It's Busquets' last game ever. I think the script
Yeah,
has already been written. I think it's going to be closer um, than what people may expect because Mueller, I think, makes such a huge difference in that Vancouver team. They were already good. Obviously, they made the CONCACAF final this year, and they played really well throughout the regular season. But he is such a difference maker because of the way they press. Like he leads their press, and his experience and playmaking and passing ability is just something that, frankly, a lot of guys don't have because he's a
yeah,
freak, um, even at 36 years old. So I think they're going to keep things really tough. But the fact that it's in Miami, the fact that it's the swan song for those two guys, like I mentioned, and they have just more experience in those big games with, all the Champions Leagues and World Cups. A lot of those guys have won. I think they'll end up winning. I think it'll be like a 3-2 game, be high scoring. Both those teams can score really well. Vancouver has a better defense than Miami, but they're not an amazing defense either in some ways. So I think it's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a really fun game to watch as a neutral. So
what time is kickoff on that
it's
one?
early. It's a Saturday
2:30.
afternoon game. Yeah, on Fox. Which in the middle of championship Saturday for college football is really
I
interesting.
know it's crazy.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, it's on Fox, it's on Apple, all that good stuff. So um, see what happens. Speaking of MLS, I'm going to tie this in. Next week, one of the things that we will talk about here on the show is the Conca draw. We're about to find out who we're going to play in our first matchup in Champions Cup in February or March, whenever the first round starts. The draw is, I believe, a week from tonight, if I remember correctly. So we will know around this time in a week who we are playing. Selfishly, I would love to play Nashville. One, because it gives me an excuse to go to Nashville, but also I think the matchup would be pretty fun. Um, that would be awesome. So that's the unfortunately it's the second most important football related draw happening in the world, because obviously, as we know, the FIFA World Cup draw is happening on Friday. So that's another big thing. But we will definitely talk about Conca next week as we find out who we play in that first round. Is there anybody that you're like, oh, I want to play them? I hope we get them.
I'm with you on Nashville. I think that'd be a great one. Yeah, I like
Nashville would
that.
be fun. San Diego again would be fun.
LAFC's in it, right?
Yeah. Oh, dude, Guignac
That would
or
that would be a
Correa
good one.
versus Sun. Woo!
Yeah, that would be a good
Sign
one too.
me up. Sign me up. Galaxy's in it this year. Seattle's in it. Obviously, Miami's in it. Um, Philly's in it. There's a ton of MLS teams because they won Leagues Cup. They dominated Leagues Cup. I think there's no Texas teams. Austin had a chance to get in, but they didn't win Open Cup. And then obviously all the Central American teams that we know, like and Vancouver is going to be in it too. And then the six that made it from our league: Cruz Azul, us, Rayados, America, Pumas, Toluca. I think is the six that made
Yeah.
it from our league. Um, I don't want to play any of those teams.
No,
That's
please
boring.
no.
It's boring.
Please no.
It's just boring. Hopefully we're on a good side of the bracket so that we can actually win this thing, because I like this tournament a lot, and I want to play in a FIFA Club World Cup in 2029, and then in an Intercontinental Cup next winter. So um, hopefully it all works out. But that draw's happening next week. We'll talk about it more next week. I think that's it. I think that's all I got. Is that all you got?
That's all I got, my friend.
Bet. Okie doke. Well, we lost Arnoldo because his phone died, by the way.
Actually, I have a gift for AJ, bro. Little parting gift.
You know what? Second hand. I'll add to that as well. Streaker saying use the Club World Cup to use as a signing to win the Conca. Okay. I get what you're saying there. Get that incentive to bring guys over so that they can be a part of that in a few years. So anywho, all right, we're gonna wrap it up here on the show. Thank you to everybody who's watched this live tonight. If you're listening on podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, to follow us everywhere that we are. Check out the screen right now. If you're watching, check out the ticker below for all the handles, and check out the description and show notes for all the handles and links and all that. You can follow the both of us personally on our Twitter accounts and Insta and all that good stuff. Shameless plug again. I put out music last week. You should go listen to it. It's on all my social media. Shameless plug over. Um, we will be back next week to discuss hopefully a preview of the final. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood again. But we'll talk about whatever happens this week. Like I said, we'll talk about the Champions Cup draw, the girls tournament. There'll be lots to talk about next week. So stick with us. We appreciate y'all's support and y'all's y'all's engagement. Chat was great tonight. We'd love to have more people in the chat. Shout out chat. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Arriba la U. We'll talk to you guys next week. Lou, thank you for joining me. And enjoy the rest of whatever's left of this Taco Tuesday.
Peace.
I will leave you guys with the AI image of the tigre eating the taco. Goodbye.